need to grow into a life that is clearly based upon using God's gifts to truly bless others.
Because that's what Jesus did in the moment and for eternity. And we want to work on our giving in the moment. So now it comes down to opening our eyes and noticing the individual lives of our brotherhood and seeing where there might be a lack or a need. James chapter 2, verses 14 to 17.
What use is it, my brethren, if someone says he has faith, but he has no works? Can that faith save him? If a brother or sister is without clothing and in need of daily food, and one of you says to them, "Go in peace, be warmed and be filled," and yet you do not give them what is necessary for their body, what use is that? Even so, faith, if it has no works, is dead, being of itself. The question we must ask ourselves is, how am I living and applying my faith to others?
This is a little unusual because this says, if you notice, it was daily food. This is not just once. This is someone who is
Right.
in need of daily food. So, what are we supposed to do when we run into a situation with those in our fellowship who have a continual need? They need this support.
I just happen to have a story about that.
Of course, you do.
So this is a story about some of the who had a housing issue. They were in dire straits, and they needed place to stay and food to eat as they were getting on their feet. So we found a way to help them do that. And with the understanding that, okay, we're going to have you be put up with some of the brotherhood so that you can get on your feet and so you can move on your way. That's the way it was presented, and there was gratefulness and all of that. And the situation, unfolded. And they are there, and they're present in this helpful situation. And as time started to go by, it began to become apparent that they saw that as a destination. Okay, as okay, here we are. Whereas my viewpoint and what we had expressed very plainly, not necessarily in these words, is this is like a landing on a very long staircase. You got all these stairs and you're huffing and puffing, and you get to the landing, you go, okay, let me get myself back together. Let me put things all in order, take a moment, and then I want to climb the next set of stairs. They weren't looking for another set of stairs. They were really happy on the landing. And so we began having conversations about that. And now months and months and months and months are going by, and we're having conversations saying, things need to change, things need to change. And it just wasn't happening. And so it got to a point where my job in the matter came down to, okay, look, you have 6 months. And within 6 months, we need to move things forward. Otherwise, things will change, whether you put yourself in a position of being ready or not, because this had gone on for a very long time. I won't say how long, but it was a lot longer than than the 6 months that we were giving. Okay. So it wasn't as though there was an opportunity. 6 months were up and nothing changed. So my job became saying, it's time for you to leave. You're going to have to figure it out. And as we were getting closer to the 6 months, there were the conversations. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And then there was the conversation it's time for you to leave. God
Oh.
bless you. It's time for you to leave. So that was a tough one.
So they were evicted.
Yeah. Yeah. Now there was no signed contract, but yes, you can't live in this space any longer.
So it sounds to me like cheerful and generous giving doesn't mean enabling someone who is capable of doing things for themselves. And that's the tricky part, is knowing when to cut that off.
Right, right. And it is a tricky thing, and it was difficult. And believe me, and by doing that, there needed to be some transitional things, okay, that were very costly. And so I said, look, we're making this transition. I'll pay for those transitional things that are very costly, and we're talking thousands of dollars,
Ugh.
so that you can move on. And they did, but it was hard. It was hard. It was difficult. So the question comes up, would I do it again?
Yes.
And the answer is absolutely.
Ah, again, even though it didn't work out well.
Because the nature of giving is not how it works out, it's how we give. That's what this is all about. And as a matter of fact, my next story coming up in a few minutes will sort of pick up on this very theme.
Okay.
Okay. So